Hi, my name is Neeru Sharma. I'm the Managing Director of the Mari Leadership Academy. I help exhausted, busy business owners grow their businesses through clarity, purpose, and alignment. Have you ever wondered why sometimes you may respond much better to expectations that others have of you, or that commitments that you've made to people other than yourself? Or that you may be responding or not responding to expectations that you've made with yourself. For example, you may be very good at keeping commitments to clients or going for client meetings, but on the other hand, you may not be so good at keeping expectations or keeping promises that you've had with yourself, like going to the gym or waking up a little bit early in the morning. So today's book review is all about that. Today's book is called The Four Tendencies and was written by an author called Gretchen Rubin. Through her research, she found that there are actually four tendencies that each of us have. By understanding how we respond to other people's expectations of us, we might be able to respond much better. So the first tendency that she talks about is where you might be very good at keeping expectations you've given to other people, but also keeping expectations that you have of yourself. This tendency is called the upholder. So upholders like to keep commitments that they've made to other people as well as themselves. So you might find that it's much easier for you to stay on track and also to meet your goals. On the other hand, you might be a person who's very good at keeping promises that you've made to other people, but may not be so good at keeping promises that you've made to yourself. So if you're that kind of a business owner, you might want to introduce some more methods of accountability. You might think about maybe joining a group, an accountability group, maybe a mastermind, or hiring a coach that might help you to have more accountability and keep those promises that you've kept to yourself. The third type of tendency that Gretchen talks about in her book is the questioner. So questioners are very good at keeping expectations that they've made to themselves, but at the same time, they question expectations that other people have of them. If you're that kind of a business owner, you may appear to be someone who's always rebelling or who's always questioning other people. This might not be very good for longer term relationships. So if this is you, you're really good at keeping promises that you've made to yourself, but you're not necessarily committing to or keeping promises that you've kept to other people. Think about how you might question or how you might frame those questions that you have for other people, but also think about what's in it for you. So when you're able to connect to why you're doing something for somebody else or why you're committing to something for somebody else, how is that relevant to you and your personal business goals? The fourth tendency that Gretchen talks about in her book is the rebel. So rebels are not necessarily good at keeping promises to themselves, or they're not good at keeping promises that they've made to other people. That's why they're called the rebels. If this is you, you probably need a lot of space for creativity. You probably don't like structure. And what might work for you is to really come back and ask yourself, how can I do this right now? What feels really good? So for example, if you made a commitment to yourself to go to the gym, you might ask yourself, well, okay, I don't feel like going to the gym right now. What else could I do? What other form of exercise could I do that might help me feel, still meet that goal, but actually do it in a different way? So this is how the four tendencies work, and it's very, very applicable to you as a business owner, because when you understand it, you'd be able to not only keep and meet expectations that other people have of you, but also you'd be able to meet and keep expectations that you have of yourself. I hope you enjoyed listening to my book review, and please do go ahead and buy the book. Gretchen also has on her website a free assessment that can help you to understand what tendency you are. So please go ahead and do that and come back and share some insights that you might have had by listening to my video and by implementing some of the tips from her book.